the success of Tomlinson is built on its people.
Construction industry is very much a family.
Smoother, better, it's more client friendly, it's easier, more productive.
Like, I think just people hear the name Tomlinson, they know what has gotten around of what kind of a company we are, what we offer.
If you look around the city, the name Tomlinson, it's a kind of a testament to that.
Welcome to Red Army Radio. Today we have John Dwyer from our industrial waste group, and Becky Gilmer from industrial waste. Maybe before we kind of get going, a little bit about yourself, what you do here, maybe what you do for fun.
Do you want me to start? So my name is Becky Gilmer, and I've been here at Tomlinson for 9 years, predominantly always industrial waste, and I am an account manager. So I'm responsible for finding new business, keeping that existing business, and everything to do with our industrial waste division.
Okay, so a bunch of time on the road, or do you?
Lots of time on the road, lots of time in the office, lots of time bringing samples to the lab. So we're kind of all over the place. And we work, my territory, I take care of actually everywhere from Bank Street West all the way up to Petawawa to Brockville. So I take care of that predominant area, and then Kingston takes over from Brockville onto Kingston. Yeah.
My name is John Dwyer. I've been working in this industry for the company for about 25 years now. I'm an account manager. I started as a truck driver. I moved along, did a bunch of different roles. My territory, I kind of, because of my background with being a truck driver, I kind of understand a little bit of how the jobs go. So I do a lot of scouting of the jobs and seeing how they're going to go, to quote them for larger projects, basically.
Okay. So more on the larger project side of things,
Still
across
doing
the whole.
Yeah, we still do the drum waste and the day-to-day things that happen, but if we're going to a factory or something like that where there's a larger project, normally I'll go in and help scout it.
Okay. And industrial waste, I think for a lot of people here, we don't really know what it is, right? We get our used oil collected from our shops, and then other than that, it kind of operates a little bit outside of our regular scope of work on the construction side. So what is an industrial waste facility? What does it do? What makes it special?
Well, industrial waste facility is a place that it's not just hazardous waste, it can be liquid industrial waste or non-hazardous waste. It's a place that collects, processes, ships out, things that can't go into the garbage, basically. It's essentially a place that can take most things that you should not put into the garbage. A lot of people put things like fluorescent light bulbs into the garbage and things like that. They just don't know any better. Realistically, it's not the right place to put it. They can be treated, they can be segregated, and recycle as much as possible. The glass potentially can be recycled. They collect the harmful aspects of it, and they treat it properly.
So how much, what are typical products that come in?
An industrial waste facility like ours, typically there's a lot of oily wastes, oily waters and different things like that. But we also get into some pretty gnarly acids and some pretty dangerous chemicals as well. We can pretty much run the gamut. The only things at our facility that we don't really take are pathological wastes and radioactive waste and explosives, of course.
Okay, gotcha. So what's the craziest product that you remember?
We've had some really weird things, but we end up with a lot of old chemicals. So old chemicals that have been stored maybe not in their right way, they can start to crystallize, and sometimes those crystals can be very, very dangerous. We've had some really weird things that have come in from different customers, like some old World War II relics from artifacts with. The planes had these fire bombs in them, basically. If there was a fire in the plane, these would go off, and the gas would put out the fire. Found out a long time after that the gas that puts out the fire also is poisonous. So we had to deal with those in a very interesting way.
Yeah, there you go. So it must be quite the, trying to keep up on all the different regulations and what you can and cannot do with certain products. You guys must have quite the team behind you guys to be able to know what you can accept or not and what's possible with the product, right?
For sure. And it changes all of the time, right? So Ministry of Environment regulations change, compliance changes, as we know. So it's really important to have that understanding and that background. And we constantly, and I mean, John will probably, assist me in this, is every time there's a new waste that comes, we're out taking a sample of it. We need to know what we're dealing with before it can come to our facility, and we accept it. So chatting with, our processing manager, our environmental manager that we had, having those conversations every single day for all of the different waste, because we can get some pretty interesting things that have come through our door.
So every day is different.
Every day is different.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're always learning new things every day, which is exciting.
And what's what's some of the innovative things that you guys have done at the facility?
Well, essentially, yeah. Like we get different projects that come in all the time. They kind of fall into our lap, and we have to find a way to effectively treat it, right? Like hand sanitizer has been a huge problem over the last few years. People overbought it during COVID, and now it's expired, and they have to find a way to get rid of it.
Properly.
I did not know that expired. I thought it was pure
Yes.
alcohol.
Oh, yeah, no,
does.
it expires.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, you've seen the bottles. They're full of gel, and we have to find a way to get the gel out of the bottles so that it can be treated. Not an easy thing to do. In the beginning, it was done by hand.
Oh, no.
Hand squeezing.
And you can just imagine the amount of labor that goes into something like that. So
Somebody sitting every day squeezing bottles of hand
Sounds like
sanitizer.
a beautiful job. Wow.
Yeah.
nobody enjoyed that job. So we've found a way to scale it up. They have
Okay.
an industrial shredder. They slowed it down. They built some screens into a roll-off container that could collect the plastic on the top, and then below it you'd collect the hand sanitizer to be pumped off and treated. Really, really, really cuts down on the time and essentially cuts down on the cost to the customer.
Huh. There
And
you
way
go.
more effective as our old hand.
And then are you
farming.
guys able to use that same process for some of the other things that you guys collect now?
Of course, it can be used in many different ways. You just have to be very careful of what's going into it, because there's a cause and effect of everything, right? The
Gotcha.
flammability of the product. If there's any metal in it, you wouldn't really want to shred something that had metal in it because it could spark.
Oh, yeah, good point. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So you guys have to go over everything. That's why you guys need to analyze every product that comes through the door, right?
Yes, yes.
So a bunch of chemists in there?
So we have, we have chemists, we have chem techs. So they predominantly work in our lab, and they're the ones. So if John and I are out on a job site taking a sample, we're the ones, we'll fill out a chain of custody form and send it to them, and they're the ones who are analyzing it and letting us know what those contaminants are. They can test for certain things. We can't test for everything at our lab, but we are able to test.
Yeah.
Quite a bit
Like
of
essentially, we're not chemists.
No.
We've been working here for a while, so we've got a little idea what it is.
Yeah.
We know to ask the right questions when we go to a
Yeah.
place, gather the samples, find out about the process, because most people think a waste is a waste is a waste, but essentially when you've used the product, there's things that are in it that make it a waste. So if you had an acid is an acid. You can get the SDS sheet for it and know exactly what's in it. Once it's been used, it may not even be an acid anymore or acidic, but it's gathered something and brought it in, normally heavy metals and different things like that, which can make it toxic to have treated and put into like a wastewater system or something.
And you keep saying treated. What does that treatment look like? You're trying to neutralize acids?
They can,
expand a little
yes,
bit,
of
yeah.
course they can. That's not something that I would be doing. That would
No.
be the chemists and the chem techs that are doing it. They have a lot more training to do
Yeah.
so, and they bench test everything and then ramp it up to get for a larger project.
Okay, that's cool. So I guess getting away from just a general industry, what makes Tomlinson special in this space?
I really think it's our ability to deal with a lot of different wastes in-house. So we, as John mentioned previously, we're able to deal with pretty much everything except for pathological waste and radioactive waste.
So what's pathological waste?
So biomedical waste, so
Yeah.
blood, that tissue, that kind of thing. So we are not licensed to deal with that. So we don't deal with anything like that. But we are able to handle, the light tubes and the acids and the oily waters and the chemicals and, you know, some household hazardous waste as well, batteries, paints, that kind of thing. So we are able to deal with so much. And the one thing that we hear time and time again that differentiates us is we're real people. We have a real facility. It's on Power Road. And if somebody calls us, they know that we're going to come meet them, John or I, depending on where it is, and they're going to get to speak to somebody who will take care of them.
Yeah, and
So
a
which is huge.
local aspect too, right?
Absolutely.
Most of these, call it competing businesses are much larger companies, don't have
Yeah.
quite the same local touch.
Yeah, they like the fact that they can get in touch with someone there, and if need be, we can respond quicker. There's less red tape. Realistically, it's a smaller division. It's not a mega corporation, so we can adapt and we can move quicker.
Where they're not calling a call center, they're calling real people.
Yeah,
That's huge.
that is huge.
Yeah.
And that seems like it's a theme across all the organizations. So that's good to hear.
It is for sure.
And what are some other key factors that would make a client go with us versus somebody else?
I personally think it's our customer service. So they know from the minute they pick up that phone and they reach dispatch or they reach one of us directly, they're going to be taken care of. So we will go to the site, we will meet them, we will take samples, we will do a full inventory, and we follow that through. John and I don't have an admin team, so it's him and we are following that through. We're handing it off to dispatch to make sure it's done properly. We also have the ministry environment components on top of that, which we've had a lot of experience with. So not only are they getting that, we can help in that regards as well with the new system.
So we kind of have to get it right, and then we report back. Like we got to show a chain of custody. How does that work? I know, like I just receive a bunch of paperwork from you guys,
For
right,
sure.
all the time.
So John, and I'll let him talk because he's got a lot of government type stuff that he deals with. So
Yeah.
his is a little bit different. But a lot of the times when our customers when we're picking up this hazardous waste, it all has to be documented on a digital registry with the Ministry of Environment.
Okay.
So all of those paperwork aspects are really important, have to be done first the right time, because we're dealing with the ministry. They need to know where this waste is being created, how it's being created, and how it's being disposed, and who's transporting it. So all of those critical pieces of information have to be right the first time.
Yeah.
So, and with that follow-up to make sure it's done, our dispatchers are amazing. They've been there for a long time as well, and we do it right the first
And
time.
how big of a team of dispatchers do you guys have?
We
down
have
there?
two.
Two. And how many trucks are running?
Oh my gosh, vac trucks.
They're up to about 15 trucks
Yeah.
of various types of box trucks, vacuum trucks, tankers, and different
Hydro
things like that.
excavators, combo trucks.
Yeah, so they're busy.
Yep.
Oh yes, it's a busy
It's a
facility.
busy
Very busy.
job, busy facility.
And we do the spill response as well, right? So our team is, we are 24/7. If if dispatch is called between 6 and 6, it'll be our dispatchers. After that, it will go to the Alliance answering in Kingston, and then it will go to the emergency response after that. So we
And
man
that's
that.
mostly for like tractor trailer accidents type
Could
stuff.
be
is
spills.
probably-
Could be actually some of the factories that we work in. They
Okay.
could have some have 24/7 round the clock work. So it could be that a spill happens at 3 a.m. on the Quebec side somewhere. It very well could. It could happen.
Yeah, because you guys do work as well over there too, right? And
We
like
do, of
Gatineau and surrounding areas.
Yes. Yeah, it's the whole region. Basically, we do go to Montreal for certain projects, and it's not our typical day-to-day work, but we do service certain places in the Montreal area. We go as far as Pembroke. We've gone Petawawa. Yeah, we go right into the valley, depending on the type of work and what you need. With us and the Kingston division, we pretty much cover the whole eastern portion of Ontario and good part of Western Quebec, realistically.
And how does that, like, there's a difference in rules and regulations, I'm guessing, as you cross the border, right? We're dealing with the
Yes.
Ministry of Environment in Ontario here, and then we're another entity on the Quebec side.
There are some differences, but
Do
the
we need to
waste-
deal with those guys, or is it because we're hauling it back, we only need to deal with the Ministry of Environment?
We don't directly deal with them. The environmental manager would be
Gotcha.
giving reporting to them, but essentially because the waste is being brought back into Ontario, we have to abide by those laws.
Okay, gotcha.
We're taking that waste into our facility. So we're taking.
Yes, so we're reporting out of
Yes.
that facility. That makes a lot of sense. You have any innovative projects or something like that we've, done over at that facility, or maybe on a job site, our customer's site, that we've help change their processes along to lower their waste or anything like that?
Well, that's essentially what we do, right? Like, we get calls quite often with people just not knowing what to do with their waste. We'll go to the site, we'll go and look at it. The first time, it's normally a disaster. You have to clean up a big mess, just things not being stored properly and that. And we show them how to store it, kind of guide them on it. We don't really give them a hard time on it, but, you try to get them into a better place where they can essentially save money. If they do segregate their waste properly and they have a good management plan for it, over time it'll be cheaper and their jobs will be a lot easier realistically and safer.
What makes you get up and come to work every day?
This is the only job I've had as an adult. It's not a joke. Like I started here when I was 25 years old, and you can see that I'm not anymore. It's weird. I've moved around in the division, but I've never wanted to leave. I like the people I work with. I care about them.
Is there a previous job that you wish you still had?
I enjoyed all of them for different reasons. Yeah, like no, I wouldn't say. No, I'm happy where I am. Yeah, I don't think I've made any mistakes. Like, I don't regret what I've done. No, not at all. There's certain parts of all of them that I enjoyed.
You've had quite the journey too, right?
Yeah. So when I first came to Tomlinson back in 2016, I worked in accounting for a little bit, and I was in accounting for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, did accounts payable for Tomlinson, right?
I did. So I actually got hired at Tomlinson and at Tomlinson Environmental at the same time. So of course it was November, and that's year end for us. So we're very, very busy. So I worked in accounts payable from November to May. And I also started then in accounts receivable in January. So I did both jobs for 5 months. 3 days I would be down at our old head office. Then I'd walk up the street to Power Road, and I would stay there 2 days. So I did that for 5 months. And then in May of 2017, I went full-time to industrial waste, and then started in operations that September. So, yeah. And I love what I do. It's very interesting. It changes day by day. You never know what you're going to run into. John has a raccoon story that I'm sure he'd love to share a little bit.
Maybe. Sure.
So for me, I absolutely love what I do, and it changes every single day. We never know what we're going to encounter. And because we deal with a lot of reactive situations, a customer will call us, just like John had said, and, they're in a pickle.
Yeah, they got an emergency.
They got an emergency. The Ministry of Environment, has said to them, hey, you need to have this cleaned up by a certain date. Of course, what happens? People procrastinate and wait till the last minute. So then we're generally called in those type of situations as well. And we're dealing with a mess, essentially. So every day is different. And, John has an amazing raccoon story that he can share with us from last week. But even for me, on the septic side of things, I do a lot of septic work. And I was meeting with the city of Ottawa just in the fall, actually. And they were testing our tanks behind 3150 Rito, so a comfort station shop and where stores is. We opened up the lid, and there was a giant snake that was sleeping there. It got scared, jumped into the sewage septic hole, and anyways, lived there. Next day, City of Ottawa came back. We opened up the lid. It can't be the same snake because it was 5 times the size, and it was hanging out in the sewage. It was awful. Anyhow, so we have an employee there that thinks that God's creatures should all survive. So he picked this giant snake out of the septic hole and let it go in the grass behind 3150 Rito. So be advised, if you're back there, there's definitely the snakes live around there.
It's a sewer snake.
It's a sewer snake, and he's eaten many things in said sewer. So anyways, they definitely, I have a video to prove it. So if anybody wants to see the video,
I'll
let me
maybe
know.
take you up on that later.
But yeah, John's raccoon story is pretty good.
Well, it's not that good. But last week we went to a site. I went with a chemical technician, and we were going to inventory a bunch of old waste that someone had sitting on their site in a tractor trailer. It's just been sitting there for a long time. They finally decided, okay, it's time to get rid of it. So we entered the trailer, which was pulled up to a dock at their facility. He walked into the back, and as I was walking in, You can picture there's skids running down each side of a trailer. There's not a lot of room.
Yeah.
I hear a noise, and a raccoon jumps out and runs between my legs, and it's hissing at me. I don't know really what I did. I turned around and started chasing it because that's what you do, apparently. It was running into the factory, so I thought, okay, I should probably try to
help.
Yes. It made the raccoon a little more angry, and my coworker, I basically left him in the trailer by himself. So I realized that, and I walked back, and I asked him, I'm like, were you all right? Like, just to see if there's any other raccoons, because I don't know. Do they hang out together? I don't know. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, did I scream? Apparently I didn't. I swore, and I tried to tackle it. That's what I do.
It's amazing. So again, every day is a different day for us.
Yeah, that's just the last few weeks here. So
yeah, well, mine was in the fall
Okay.
when I met with the city of Ottawa. But you never know what's going to happen. Every day is a new day. It's
There
exciting.
you go. So, geez, any other? I'm trying to say, how do I follow up with this one? There must be some other stuff, right?
Oh, we got lots. I mean, many stories over the years of you never know what you're going to see. You really don't know. And when you think that you've seen it all, then you see something different. So,
Like what?
uh,
Hit me.
well, it could be anything. It could be, boxes that come into the facility. It could be anything really. And
No.
you just never know what's going to come in.
It's it's a dirty job. It's a hard job. The guys have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So if you see they see something that's,
Out of the
piques their interest,
Out of the
there's a
ordinary.
good chance they're going to dial it up to 10 and let everyone know what they have found. Sometimes it's I'm not going to talk about it, Becky.
No,
You can.
No,
Why not?
you just never know, Francis. You're going to have to come visit us.
Well, I have, but I haven't been in a while. But yeah, I'd have to go back.
When we get something really exciting, I'll call you.
Yeah,
And you
'cause
can
we,
come
like
down and
we've
check it
had
out.
like full like grocery store type situations where like there's a fire and we needed to get rid of all the food, but some of it's not, it's, it's past its due date and stuff like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we run into things like that all the time where it has to be disposed of. Certain things we can take out of facility, certain things we can't. So like food, we're not allowed. It rots. So that had to be dealt with in a different way. I think that all went to CARP or went directly to landfill. So they depackaged it and did it that way. All of the other stuff that qualified, basically we took at our place. And once again, you depackage it, you take everything. You're just basically trying to minimize the amount that goes to landfill.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The one thing I find really neat too is that, John had mentioned this earlier, is depending on what comes in, we're always trying to look at new innovative ways to make it, more effective, more cost effective for the customer, more cost effective for us, depending on, what sort of materials that we're needing to use, if we need to solidify, that kind of thing. So we're really always trying to focus on making our little division do that much more.
Any work getting done on like waste to energy type stuff? Is there enough, waste
there's
products
talks
coming in
about-
that we're able to recycle some of it and do something?
That's what we've been looking at. Yeah. So we've been looking at a lot of different options since we've had our new processing manager come over, and he has been really great in showing some different ways of processing, just more effective processing. And that's been really great for us.
Oh, good.
Just, with our waste aerosols and, fluorescent tubes, those sorts of things that we deal with an abundance of. It's been great.
Good.
So we're always looking for new ways to make.
Seems like you got something to add there, John.
Well, that's essentially what we do. You're trying to find a way to minimize the amount of stuff that goes into a landfill. Like projects like waste to energy and stuff like that. Not directly something that we do at our facility because you have to be permitted to do a lot of these things. They explore different options of different things that can be done, but we bulk things up and we send them out to places for incineration that do
Okay,
make energy
gotcha.
and stuff, things like that. I wish we could do it at our facility. Maybe in the future, I know that there's a team here that is always looking into different ways to refine stuff. And we would love to be part of that realistically.
And how does this, you guys are part of a larger group with Tomlinson Environmental Services. How do those groups link together or work together and create full service offerings for customers? I'm just kind of grasping at straws and seeing what hits here.
Yeah. I mean, with the whole cross-selling initiative that was launched a couple years now, I think Jeff Rickey, a couple years ago it's been that you guys had launched it. I really think that that's also opened up, well, I know it's opened up my eyes for sure in making sure that those customers are full service customers. So there's been a lot of great collaboration work between ourselves and the solid waste team. So, Jim and Tracy and Sebastian and Brian, we're really able to leverage each other. Tracy has lots of property managers as her main customers. Property managers need lots of hazardous waste help. There's catch basins and household hazardous waste and some vacuum work and that kind of thing. So it's been a really, really great collaboration between the two divisions, and we were working a lot more together than we would have in the past, for sure.
And then it flows with the rest of the team as well. I'm sure you guys get leads from the ready mix guys
absolutely.
or construction.
No, for sure. We're always giving leads to to Stefan and to even Dave Barris on that side. So it's been really great because our customers are like, hey, because we have such great rapport with a lot of our customers, they'll say to us, hey, we need this or we need this. Who can I talk to? And it's a great segue to introduce different parts of Tomlinson to our existing customers.
Yeah.
Because our existing customers are pretty specialized a lot of the time, depending on what they do. But again, factory work sometimes needs a new ramp built or needs...
It's like, especially on your side, we've had issues on sites where we're simply delivering concrete, right? So we're not necessarily a sub or anything. We're a material supplier where we're on site and something happens with a piece of equipment.
For sure.
Right? And they're downtown. There's catch basins everywhere. And they have a major hydraulic leak.
So I just had one right
just
before I stepped in
being able to
here.
say, hey, we got somebody. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything, right? And
it literally happened. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem, because they just want to get it handled, right?
Yeah.
It's great to just be able
I've
to make that
taken the
one
call from you a
Oh,
few
yes.
times.
Yes. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's a story.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, having those people to call in your back pocket, being as I said, right before I came in, I took a phone call. An RW Tomlinson employee just called, hey, Beck, I have a hydraulic leak on a site.
Yep.
Come help me, right? So and again, John and I have been around long enough that they know who to call if there's an issue, which is great. So
I'd say over the last few years, in the beginning when we first amalgamated all the companies, people thought we were just guys with vacuum trucks.
yes.
Yeah.
They didn't really understand what we did, and the company's done a really good job of letting everyone know what's going on, what other divisions do, not just ours, like what your division does. And that's kind of opened our eyes to being able to share that with our customers, and it has produced a lot of opportunities.
And does your team have a good interaction, or is there a crossover with the recycling facility in Carp? Do you guys send stuff over there because you can, it depends on what you can treat or not, and then what they can treat, so you guys interact that way and kind of try to create
on the account manager side, we both report to the same manager, so we're pretty tightly knit together actually, and it really helps. It's things that we've struggled with at the industrial waste side. I can reach out to Carp to see if they can help with that at their waste recovery center, and I've found that it's been really cohesive. Actually, it's made my life a lot easier.
And what makes, from a frontline worker aspect of it, whether it be a vac truck driver or I don't know if the comfort station stuff kind of flows back over there, I'm sure. What makes a good frontline employee at industrial waste? What that one characteristic that says you should be on our team instead of doing, driving a dump truck or driving a ready mix truck? There's a certain type of people that work, right?
You don't 100%. Mind getting dirty.
Nah, there you go.
That's a big one.
Essentially, you're not looking for truck drivers where we work.
No.
They're more of an operator. They spend 75% of their time working with the equipment rather than just driving it. The people, they're truck drivers, yes, but they're more customer service reps realistically, because they interact with the customer to make sure that they're meeting their expectations. I'm not there at that point.
Yeah. So
there's
they're
nothing
the
I can do.
face of the company at that point in
100%.
time,
They
right?
are.
And they're the
Yes.
ones that create our successes and make sure that we've got to call back the next time.
That's right.
Realistically, they are the ones that make us look good.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to win or lose with them. And we've got a pretty tightly knit group. They've been there for a long time now. There's always been turnover with new people.
Yep.
They come in, it's not for them. Okay, they bow out pretty quickly, but we have a group that stays, and they seem to, I don't know if it's a sickness, but they seem to enjoy it. I don't know what it is about it, but
I think it's the variability, having something different every day,
Yeah.
right?
It's not mundane.
And then
No, it's not.
having the customer service or customer facing aspect of it, and it's not in every job that they can get that, right? So
No, for
it's
sure.
you go home at night. I think there's a little bit of a sense of accomplishment, right? You've done something. You've
Absolutely.
helped somebody out. You actually see them being proud of the work that you did or happy of the work that you did, and they say thank you. And you
Well,
you're
they're
working for
producing.
them at that point in time.
Yeah.
You're not working for your
Realistic.
supervisor. You're working for that customer, right?
And there's
you'll-
something tangible at the end of the day. If you go to a spill and you go and clean it up, it could be a large project that takes a long, long time, but at the end of it, you've actually contributed something.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's not, you're not building a building, I get it, but you're cleaning up something that otherwise would
Well, it's
remain.
pretty scary at certain times when you show up, like the messages
Yeah.
There
that
can be
the guys
times.
are
Yeah, it can
getting,
be.
like,
There's
you
been
know.
times that we respond to fatalities with truck accidents. It's actually kind of emotional. You're
Yeah.
a truck driver responding to a truck accident. You kind of shut that part off. You do the portion that you can, and hope you've done well.
The one thing I think too that at the industrial waste division here in Ottawa is it's the longevity of their employees. Like John's been here for 25 years. Helena, again, our main dispatcher, she's been there for 25 years. A lot of the team is from Lacombe when Tomlinson purchased Lacombe in 2013. So there's a lot of employees that have been there for a very long time, and I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah. It's rare, right? You hear all the nightmare stories of companies being acquired and then
Yeah, for sure.
everybody leaving.
Nobody left.
Nobody left, right?
No.
So
No.
Realistically, they offered a lot of opportunity when they came.
Yeah.
good, right on. Before we let you guys go, anything you'd like to share to the rest of the company? You got everybody's ears, right? We've got 2,000 listeners on this now, Haley.
So many listeners. Is there anything else you want to add?
What to say? You got me here, man.
I
I'd
just
say thanks for the opportunity, Francis. Anything.
Okay.
Francis and Haley, you guys rock. No, again, we appreciate, you having us on here because a lot of people, as John said earlier, a lot of people don't know what we do. They think we have vac trucks, but we have so much more to offer. And there's so many things that we have to offer that people don't know. So we are a tiny little division on Power Road, but we do have a pretty big impact. So
Yeah, so if you're not sure of something,
call us.
call them.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate
Thanks for
the
having us.
conversation,
Thanks for having
the insight, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.
Take care.
Oh, I can't, Danny. Look at him. Good. Ugh. Gross.
My eyes, I'm lifting that one.